Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another Battle for Zendikar Swiss Draft. Best cards in this pack. Herald of Kozilek is very strong. Clutch of Currents, Complete Disregard. I think that's it. So, only issue with taking Herald of Kozilek, because I think Herald of Kozilek is the strongest card. Problems with taking it. It's already two colors, which you don't want on your first pick. And it only really works for one archetype, which is blue-red. So it is probably one of the stronger blue-red cards for its archetype, since it makes everything cheaper. But I probably should not first pick it, since I want to take a powerful card that leaves me more open to multiple archetypes. So it's really, I think it's Complete Disregard versus Clutch of Currents. And I think Clutch of Currents is just better. Complete Disregard takes care of something and feeds processing, but Clutch of Currents gives you a creature and can be a good tempo card, and is basically, I feel like blue is probably just better than black in general. So I'll take the Clutch of Currents. There's more archetypes that it's better in, I think. All right, follow-up pick. So, best card in the pack. Nothing crazy good in here. Unified Front's a good card. Kind of have to be converged to really capitalize. Bone Splinters is fine, typically goes later. I'll probably just take the Tightening Coils. It stays on color with our Clutch of Currents, and it is a very good card for, I mean, if you're in blue, you should be pretty happy you have Tightening Coils. There's certainly decks where it's not as good as it can be in others, but for blue-white flyers, it's pretty phenomenal, and so is Clutch of Currents. And even if I take Tightening Coils, I can still end up in like blue-black or blue-red, even though I did pass the Herald of Kozilek. I mean, I could take the Outnumber, but I'm okay taking Tightening Coils. It does seem a bit early, but it's okay. I like Tightening Coils. Ooh, third pick, Grip of Desolation. All right. Well, third pick is surprising. It's a very strong card. I mean, certainly the strongest card remaining in this pack. So we'll go for blue-black, which means if I can find mid to late processing cards, take them. Grip of Desolation is a card that feeds processing. So if you're in blue-black, yes. Cards like Misintruder get a lot better, become much more playable. You don't have to focus. The beauty of it, you don't have to focus on processing. There's still plenty of good cards outside of that, but processing is the main, ingest processing is the main sort of ability set of blue-black. So I am going to want to keep an eye out for that. Ooh, Nullifier here. Much better than Gray Birthing. Yeah, it seems like a pretty easy Nullifier. At this point, I would like to make both blue and black work. Committing yourself, pick 4 to 2 color, can cause a problem, but I think that's fine. Nullifier is a pretty tough one to successfully process, but a 2/3 Flash Flyer is just really good in general, so no problems there. Okay. I mean, Titan's Presence rather is fine. I'm okay taking a second Tightening Coils, I think. Card is fine in blue-black. Typically, you're better in the late game anyway, ideally. And as LSV calls Tightening Coils, it's basically Terminate, right? That is what he calls it, but I think he's joking. All right, pretty decent start so far. Okay, what do we got here? Probably just Myers Malice. I mean, Gruesome Slaughter. The funny thing is I've been wrecked by this, and it certainly can work in a blue-black deck, but I actually think Myers Malice is a pretty good card. I've come around on it. I think it's better than I first evaluated it. Gruesome Slaughter is rare, which maybe means I should consider it a little bit more strongly. I mean, I guess I already have 2 creatures that work with it. I guess I'm more likely to see another Myers Malice later. It's early enough where I can take Gruesome Slaughter. This card could definitely be strong if I end up with enough colorless. Like I said, there's plenty of it in blue and black, so okay. If it doesn't work out, I think it's a risk worth taking. If it does work out, I think it's super strong. Like bouncing a creature, getting a 3/3, and then being able to use that 3/3 to kill something else. It's pretty nice. All right, so Interesting. Best card in the pack. I mean, Breaker of Armies is fine. Yeah, I mean, it's a strong card. It's 8 mana. Could take the Invoker. Invoker seems like a card you could splash pretty easily, actually. Seems like a decent splash, too. Get a little lightning bolt on a stick. If I don't end up able to ramp, Breaker of Armies is going to be pretty tough to play. But, I mean, it's a strong ability. Absolutely. I guess we'll take Breaker of Armies. Okay, Grave Birthing here. It's fine. Feeds the processing. I actually I've liked Grave Birthing for a while. I think it's a good card. Late Plated Crusher, but not super surprised there. Also late Eyeless Watcher, but green still not the most popular color, so kind of makes sense. I guess we can take Blighted Fen here. There's also a Wavewing Elemental and a Scour from Existence and a Dutiful Return, but Blighted Fen doesn't really, take up a slot in your deck. We're almost assuredly 18 lands anyway, so it's nice to have the utility lands that do something. I think Blighted Fen's fine. I think LSV said he doesn't like it, but I do. All right, Pathway Arrows. Sideboard card. Much more interested in that than, say, Mortuary Mire, which I guess is okay, but Pathway Arrows can be a really good sideboard card. None of these guys are particularly good, are they? We'll take the Stalker, but I've yet to see a Stalker played in all of these drafts. Maybe that's wrong, but I cannot recall seeing it once. I think I'm actually going to take Fertile Thicket, and there's a reasonable chance we play it. I've kind of, after that last deck I played, where I was just playing Fertile Thicket, basically to help with a Converge card, it played really well, even without getting the Converge value. Just opening a hand that's got it in like one other land, it really like ensures you see that third land. I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's a lot better than I originally gave it credit for. All right, I guess we'll take Prism Array. I don't think we're playing it, though. I mean, here's some Converge cards that work with it, but I'm not exactly interested in them. All right, so probably would prefer to not play the Stalker either. So far, decent start. Got some powerful cards. Didn't get any Ingesters. Only got one Processor, so didn't get a ton of archetypal cards. But maybe we can see if we can fix that here in pack 2. Oh, I guess we did get the Grave Birthing, which does feed the processing, but we're definitely looking for like straight up Ingesters. Like Benthic Infiltrator would be the best, I think. Well, there's better, but Infiltrator would be a good one. Ooh, Tidecaller's a strong card. There is a Mist Intruder in here. Also a Sky Spawner. Jeez, this pack has everything we want. Tidecaller's pretty strong. We only have Clutch of Currents currently, but it's tough to pass up a Tidecaller. See if we can't wheel the Mist Intruder. Probably not wheel the Sky Spawner. But Tidecaller's just such a strong card. Like, granted, we only have one Awaken spell, but I definitely think we can find some more. Especially if we wheel this Myers Malice too. Yeah, we got to take the Tidecaller here. It's just too much potential value. Okay, Deathless Behemoth versus Merc Strider. Also Silent Skimmer and a third Tightening Coils. Probably want the Deathless Behemoth. This card is very strong. Very, very strong. It's much better than Breaker of Armies, I think, just because it's so much cheaper. Merc Strider's very good too. And it's archetypal, but I think I still want the Behemoth. It's tough to pass up on just bombs like Deathless Behemoth that just work so well. Windrider Patrol, another bomb. There's also a Sky Spawner. But, I mean, Patrol feels like it ends games a little bit better. Sky Spawner's going to work better with the Slaughter. It also ramps. I still think I got to go Patrol. This card's pretty bomb. It's tough because... And there's a Mindraker in here, too. I don't know what to say. Windrider Patrol is just very, very strong. Okay, well, there's another Grave Birthing, but I think we're going to take the Cloud Manta, which is admittedly better for a blue-white deck. I guess we only have 2 black cards currently, so it's... Or, I guess 3 black cards. It's not out of the realm of reason that we could jump out of black if we had to, jump into blue-white still. But otherwise, I take Oracle of Dust, which is fine if you're processing, but we already passed a Mist Intruder for I still think would a better card in Tidecaller. But we'll take the Cloud Manta. That's fine. We're still open to possibly moving to blue-white. Ooh, Zulaport Cutthroat I love, though. There's Gideon's Reproach, which could help me move into white, but I just love Cutthroat. Such a good card. Really cannot be overlooked. There's times where you play it, and there's a board state where your opponent just can't do anything. Like, they either have to kill Cutthroat, or they just die. You get to swing with everything, and they just cannot block in a profitable way without killing themselves. So, Cutthroat is pretty amazing, I think. I'm going to take it here. Okay, Archive, but I think we actually want the Sludge Crawler. Let's get our first... Sludge Crawler is a good card. It has Ingest. It's exactly what this kind of deck is looking for, so we'll take it. Doesn't work that well with the Tightening Coils, but that's not a huge deal. I think we take the Rush of Ice. We're looking for good Tidecaller value. It's a fine card to have one of. Claustria Healer is a good card, but this isn't the deck for it, so let's just take the Rush. It's fine. Okay, Evolving Wilds versus Coral Helm Guide. I think we're going to be okay on playables, which makes me want to take the Wilds over the Guide. Yeah, I think that's right. Wilds is just good. Good fixing. Always playable. Ooh, got the Myers Malice back. That's awesome news. We're going to take that. We're going to play it pretty happily, actually. More value for Tidecaller. Second Rush of Ice, I guess. I mean, we're not playing anything else here. Second Rush of Ice is a lot worse than the first one, but that's okay. I think we continue to cut black cards, let our opponents clean up on red and white. We're just basically interested in cutting blue and black. So, don't really have much of a processing thing going, admittedly, but the pros of this deck are we have some good early removal. We have great evasion, like Nullifier, Cloud Manta, Windrider, Patrol are all good. We have good finishers. I don't think we're going to be able to make Breaker of Armies work. I think it's just really unlikely. We don't have a lot of ramp. This really isn't an Altar's Reap deck. We don't have enough, I think. Don't have enough to really make this card good. It's more of a green-black card. I guess I take Scour, probably a sideboard option. Take the Trick, I guess. So, what does this deck need? It's not doing much in terms of processing and ingesting. But what is it doing? It's got decent tempo and removal. It's got good evasion. So I guess, what would I really want? Whoa, Hellkite's strong, but it's not really what I'm looking for. Could just take the Carrier Thrall. It's actually not a phenomenally good card for this deck, but it's fine. It has synergy with Cutthroat. It has synergy with Deathless Behemoth, since the Scion could potentially bring him back. Otherwise, Spell Shrivel, which doesn't seem like a very good first pick. Hellkite is, of course, super strong, but I just can't make it work, and I think there's a very good chance we end up actually playing the Carrier Thrall, so we'll take it. Not an archetypal card with blue-black, but just a good card in general. I think it holds down the fort well on turn 2. Trades with something, gives you a ramp. Wow, Serpentine Spike. It's pretty good. Dominator Drone, Cryptic Cruiser, Mindraker. Well, if I had more of a processing thing going, I'd probably take the Cryptic Cruiser. Currently only have Sludge Crawler and Grave Birthing to ingest with, which just makes these hill giants. Probably just take the Dominator Drone. We've got possibly enough colorless stuff to make that work. Like we have Sludge Crawler, Carry Thrall if it dies, Grave Birthing makes colorless, Nullifier, Rush of Ice, Clutch of Currents, Behemoth. Probably have enough. It also has Ingest. Okay, I mean, at this point, we're more interested in Ingest than processing, because processing doesn't do anything without Ingest, and at least Ingest does something without processing. So we're playing more of like a blue-black beatdown tempo sort of thing. All right, we'll definitely take a second clutch of Currents. There's an Angel Renewal, which admittedly we could splash with the Evolving Wilds and the Fertile Thicket, but probably unnecessary. We'll just take the clutch. Just really good card. Okay, now there's Mindbreaker, which I guess I'm fine with. There's nothing else in here we're really interested in. Bane of Bala Ged is very strong. There's also Ruin Processor. I think Bane's probably better. Don't have enough ingest to make Processor work, and I'd rather have the thing that makes my opponent exile, I think. Otherwise, Spell Shrivel is probably fine too, but I'll take the Bane. That's okay. I think it's a strong card. All right. Bone Splinters, Merc Strider, Tightening Coils, number 3. This is our 22nd card. Currently, on the ingest front, we don't have much. We have Grave Birthing Drone and Sludge Crawler, which is not a lot. Do I want Merc Strider or do I want a third Tightening Coils? We're kind of creature light. Well, I guess not really. We have double Rush of Ice, double. We have like 15 creatures, 16 with Mire's Mouse. I could take a third Tightening Coils. We've got just an excellent late game plan. I guess Tightening Coils does not have good synergy with Bane since they just exile whatever creature you've Tightening Coils, but that's really not like a huge deal. Third Tightening Coils versus a Merc Strider, which we most likely cannot end up processing. I guess we'll take a third Tightening Coils. I don't think it's great, but it's fine. Like I said, if we can make a good late game plan work. All right, I think we'd take a second Cloud Manta. We just don't have a lot of ingesters, therefore playing processors seems irrelevant, which means why don't we just we have like the Tightening Coils, now we can just play flyers and tempo our opponents out or weaken whatever creatures can stop our flyers. I think that's a fine strategy, not an insane one, but we just, like I said, did not end up with a ton of... All right, Cloud Manta for days. It's probably fine. These Tightening Coils look a lot better if we're playing 3 Cloud Mantas. I don't think this is a Night Watch deck either. Let's just hate the Gnarlid here. I don't think we need double Fertile Thicket. I'm probably okay with it, though. But probably don't need it. So we'll just hate something. Assassin's not really what this deck's looking for. Valakut Predator is probably the biggest threat. We'll hate that. Infuse could be scary. Though people don't play it very often, but I think it's a good card. Guess we'll take a return. We've already got the trick out of sideboard. So probably just not enough value for Gruesome Slaughter. I mean, how many... I could do a count, but I don't think that we have... I don't think we have enough to make it work. Probably don't want the Mindbreaker either, really. And I think because we have the Tidecaller, double Rush of Ice, double Clutch of Currents, Mire's Mouse is probably a little bit better for us. Like, the Rush of Ices actually look good in here with our flyers. We want to be able to get a blocker, tap down a dude, and fly over top. So probably don't play the Mindbreaker. I think Grave Birthing is actually kind of good in here since it ramps us to 5, which is pretty important, getting to 5. Being able to make a creature and bounce a creature or tap one down and not let it untap seems good. I definitely think we want triple Tightening Coils. With the sheer quantity of flyers we have, I think Tightening Coils looks actually really good in here. This deck's fine. It's not a very archetypal deck, like I said. I basically ended up passing a couple ingesters for it, and what, in my opinion, is just better cards like Tidecaller is insane. And what was the other? I guess I saw one missed Intruder. I keep trying to make the ingest deck work, and then I end up just not seeing the missed Intruders because I want to prove to people that I'm not biased. I will play an archetype and play the cards in that archetype, but did not work out this time. So I got to make one more cut. We're definitely playing 18 lands. And we are going to play the Fertile Thicket, by the way. Even though we have no Converge, I'm going to stick with my theory that Fertile Thicket is actually just legitimately good outside of being in green, just because being able to find a third land, like I said, or something, can be really important. I think we're definitely playing double Rush of Ice, double Clutch, so we probably cut Mindbreaker. I do have ways to feed it. but everything else just seems better, I think. We want to make sure we've got enough early game. And Mindbreaker just seems like it's the easiest to cut. Okay, we'll cut the Mindbreaker. Yeah, this deck's fine. No real issues with this deck. Like I said, triple Tightening Coils is really good early protection against the decks that want to steamroll. Zulaport Cutthroat does allow us a way to gain life. We've got good tempo sort of removal, pseudo removal. Grip of Desolation is probably right up there as one of the strongest cards in our deck. Deathless Behemoth and Bane are very nice finishers, in addition to our flying plan that we have. Okay, I'm on board with this deck. I think it's fine. It's not insane, but perfectly fine. So let's bring in our lands and sort by color. More blue than black, but our black is early, so we're probably just going to do as even a split as possible. So this would be 9 blue, 8 black, which I think is just fine. Yeah, 9 blue, 8 black's fine. 8 black should be enough to see our early black that the deck wants. Okay, yeah, I don't know how highly I would rate this deck. Like I said, not the traditional ingest processing blue-black deck, but a fine deck nonetheless. Total like sort of evasion plan going on, which I think is good. More of a blue-white strategy, but the black cards we have are quite good, like Cutthroat, Nullifier, Grip, even Malice. Pretty light in the black department, to be honest, but the blue cards we have are super strong. Like triple Cloud Manta, Nullifier, Windrider Patrol, that's a great fleet. And Tidecaller, like I said, is just going to be insane in this deck with double clutch, double Rush of Ice, Myers Malice. We should be able to fly over top with at least one of these guys and do good that way. So, okay, yeah. Decent deck. Not insane, but certainly good enough. We'll play it like this. We'll see you round 1.